Welcome to our videos on advanced features of Google AdWords. In this video, we'll continue with our A/B testing experiment. Okay, so now we need to upload our updated web pages with all the Google testing code. Okay, back to FTP, and on the left is my computer desktop, and I want those three files, convert.html, test. And actually I want to rename it test1.html just to be pedantic. And okay, so test1.html and test2.html and convert.html. Select those, upload, and I want to overwrite and overwrite and overwrite. So now, back to AdWords and validate. And as the updated pages are all online, hopefully it's all okay. Okay, original page, installation complete. Variation pages, 1, installation complete. And conversion page, installation complete. And I can just about get to the OK, so let's OK that. And let's continue. Okay, we're on the Preview and Start Experiment screen. So A/B experiment setup, preview and start experiment. I can recheck the pages if I want, but I don't feel there's any reason to do that. What you can do helpfully is do a preview. Let's open this in a new window, and it lets you do a quick preview of exactly how it's going to work. So, experiment preview, A/B testing demo. Which page do I want to see? Okay, the original, this is the original page. And you can troubleshoot if you wish. This just takes you to Google's help in case anything's not appearing as it should. But first of all, let's do refresh and see what happens. Okay, let's do that again. And okay, it doesn't seem to do a huge amount, so let's forget about that button for now. Let's have a look at variation 1. And there's variation 1. Back to the original, pretty straightforward. Let's click between them, and we're just jumping from one to the other. And when you get to the end, it just loops back around. Refresh, and actually refresh doesn't seem to do anything with that button, so we can ignore that. Okay, so that's the preview functionality. Let's close. Then experiment pages, and it lists all the pages involved. Summary, although we've validated that the URLs exist and checked the JavaScript code on each page, we strongly recommend you preview your pages for any layout or markup issues. Okay, and yes, we've actually just done that. So, start the experiment. Okay, you've successfully started this experiment. Your customers will begin to see different versions of your page right away. Within 3 or 4 hours, you'll start seeing conversion data in your reports. So like a lot of things within Google AdWords, the information you see is not right up to date. There is sometimes a delay. And sometimes, in my experience, especially with Google Analytics, it can be a delay of even up to a day. So, okay, we can dismiss that message. So what are the options? It's running, that's fine. We can preview it again if we wish. We can recheck the pages again if we wish. We can pause the experiment. We can stop the experiment, and we can view the report. Obviously, if you stop the experiment, it will stop flicking between the pages. So one of these, your original page, has to be a page that people are visiting anyway. So let's say that people are visiting index.html. Your original should be index.html. I just went with test 1 and test 2 for demonstration purposes, but it is best if, let's say people are coming to yourdomain.com/ezine, and then the page is called index.html. You want your original testing page to remain as index.html because traffic is already going there. If you change it, if you rename it to test1.html, Then people who go to index.html are going to get page not found error messages, unless you change your links, of course. But when you're getting a decent amount of traffic to a web page, you really don't want to change its name or address because it can cause a lot of problems. It's a lot easier just to keep the original page at the same address where you're already getting traffic, and then your test pages, call them whatever you like. And it may be an idea, in fact, not to call them Test 1 and Test 2 and Test 3. You really don't want to make it too obvious that you're testing, because some astute visitors may see that and then start testing different combinations. They may try test2.html and then test3.html, and I've done that myself when I see that on web pages just because I do internet marketing and I'm curious. A lot of people probably aren't going to notice, but you probably want to go with more cryptic names, such as, if the original page is index.html, then change it something instead of index B, which again is pretty easy to guess. You could change it to indexezine.html or signuppage.html. And then that can be your testing page. And your third or next testing page would be ezinepage.html. They all have different names, but it's not obvious that they're entirely different pages. So I would suggest something like that. Okay, close and view report. Let's take a quick look, but I doubt there's anything there yet. And okay, here's the report page, and you can also pause, stop, and change your settings if you wish. And importantly, I'll come to settings in just a moment. And it's telling us no data has been collected yet. Please wait a day or so in order to start seeing results. So there's nothing useful to report so far. Okay, different options. View best one combinations, view worst one combinations, and you can download your report in various formats: tab separated text format with the columns separated by tabs, in XML format, and in Excel format. You can print, and we can preview again if we wish, but here's the information, original page, and actually if you click this link here, it just takes you back to the preview screen and displays the original page. So there's the original page, and there's the combination 1 as it's called, or the variation 1 rather, and estimated conversion rate range. Okay, actually there's no useful data at all to recall at this time, of course, but the columns are estimated conversion rate range, chance to beat original, chance to beat all, observed improvement, and conversions/visitors. Okay, I'll come back to this when we actually have some statistics, because obviously then it will be a lot more meaningful to see. And actually what I'm going to do in the meantime is go back to the website and just click through these pages so that Google starts receiving some statistics from me. And actually, it is useful to note that if you do view source, all this Google code is added in JavaScript, and only a minority of website visitors browse with JavaScript disabled. For example, in Firefox, you can just go Tools, Options, and you can disable JavaScript if you wish. And again, JavaScript is a programming language that works with HTML to provide more functionality. But some people are going to choose that they don't want that functionality for whatever reason. I can't give you exact figures, but it may be 10% of visitors, maybe 5%, and maybe a lot fewer. But it's not a big percentage of people. But those who do visit with JavaScript disabled, you obviously aren't going to be able to test them because the entire functionality of the testing hinges on the JavaScript code. And if JavaScript code disappeared from the page, and if someone visits with JavaScript disabled, it's as if the entire JavaScript has disappeared from the page. Those visitors are going to see your default, your original page. they're going to see your default sales page or sign-up page or whatever it is. But in fact, because their JavaScript is disabled, Google will in fact ignore them entirely from the statistics. So that's just something to realize, that you may have slightly more visitors than the testing statistics demonstrate, and that could be because they're visiting with JavaScript disabled. Okay, between videos here, I'm going to just keep clicking through here just to get some statistics going to Google. Okay, let's go to test 1. Okay, and so on. But you don't need to watch that, so I'll just do that between videos. Okay, so back to the report page. And again, I'll come back to this page when something meaningful is actually showing, because obviously that would be a better demonstration. But a link here in the report page, settings, and okay, experiment settings, settings and design, it's telling us test page. That's fine. It's telling us conversion page, amount of total traffic to use. Okay, I'll come back to that in just a moment. Variations, 2 variations. We have 2 variations of the page total, and we can do another preview if we wish. Now, the amount of total traffic to use option that you have here is very important. You're effectively telling Google what percentage of visitors to your original page should be used for testing purposes. So let's say you get 100,000 visitors a month to your eZine sign-up page. Let's imagine that it's this address, and let's say you didn't want all 100,000 visitors to be part of your test. Let's say you only wanted 10,000 visitors. For whatever reason, you may not want all your traffic to be tested upon. The downside is that the results you get from testing are slower because obviously fewer visitors are being tested, but you may feel that's a trade-off you're willing to make. So in this example, with 100,000 visitors a month on average, and I just want to test 10,000 a month, I could just take this down to 10%. So across the entire month of the people visiting this page, only 10,000 of them will actually be tested upon. So we'll only get statistical results from 10,000 rather than the entire 100,000. So you may have reasons for doing that, but again, the results come more slowly, of course. One potential reason for doing that, I would say, is that if you're slightly cautious about how visitors, if you like how your page is performing, but you still want to test new pages, there's always a risk the new pages you're testing, the different versions of the page you're testing, aren't going to work as effectively. In a way, it could actually hurt you rather than help you. And that's really the risk you're taking whenever you're doing tests online. So if you want to test a bit more cautiously and receive results over a longer period, you may want to take this number down to 10%, 25%, whatever you want. But I'm going to leave it at 100% for now and save. Okay, we're back in the reports page. Nothing to show here. I'll come back to this in a later video. So let's just go back to the Website Optimizer main page, and there's the experiment list and the column headings, experiment, and there's our experiment, which I've called A/B Testing Demo. Status, it's running and collecting data. You can click through to view the report, and we can edit settings. And here's where that link goes to. If you really want to edit settings, you have to click on View Report again, and then click on Settings here. Okay, back to the main Website Optimizer page. Also, it tells us as a quick overview, page visitors, and again, Google hasn't updated with the information yet, conversions, conversion rate, and so on. So that's how you get up and running with A/B testing using Website Optimizer in Google AdWords. In the next video, I'll show you a way Google helps prevent the same person from seeing multiple pages you're testing.